Hello, everyone. My name is Nikki. Welcome to my channel. I am an Ascension mentor, and I am here to help break down the Ascension into more practical and understanding concepts to help you step into your infinite potential. So, there has been something that I call divine will and personal will. And the reason why many people are having difficulties manifesting what it is that they want in their reality is because they are attached to the outcome of their personal will. So I call personal will what the ego desires, right? And this is where the person, which is you, the human self, wants to have certain experiences. You want more money, you want a relationship, you want great health, you want all these things. And perhaps pursuing these things have been very challenging or resisting to you because there's preconceived uh, ideas, beliefs, and even soul restrictions from you achieving that, right? And it is built into the system. So it is built into your soul's journey that you would want these things from an ego perspective. And in the pursuit of these things, it helps you see where those limitations are so you can expand beyond them. And through the expansion beyond these limitations, you actually fulfill your soul's true purpose, which is understanding more of who you are. And I hear this coming through, and it is about because your separation from what it is that you desire creates pain. It mirrors back the separation and the pain um, of your wounding and your programming. And by you transcending beyond the wounds and the programs, you come back into wholeness. And when that happens, you realize that what you have been seeking for on an ego level is not the same as what your soul is seeking for, which is unity. Your soul is seeking to unify the difference between you and what it is that you desire through the ego, right? And from the dissolving of the ego and the desires of the ego, you come back into wholeness of what your soul was truly here to experience, which is unity, this unity consciousness, understanding that everything is a part of you, that all humanity experience is a divine part of your soul experience. So here is when you step into divine will. Divine will is when you are fully surrendered, that you don't have attachments to what your ego desires, but more of a conduit to source, because you have reached this level of understanding that what you want or what divine wants, right? What divine will, this is your soul's blueprint, and how your soul has been mapped out is already in alignment with your personal like fulfillment. So this is when a personal will comes into alignment with divine will, and there is no longer a split or a resistance because you understand that what your soul wants is the is everything that your human wants. And it has been planned out perfectly so that it could be the most beautiful and most fulfilling experience that you can have ever imagined. But you have to be able to surrender to the journey of your soul versus the expectation of what it's supposed to look like. I'm going to tie this in to the concept of manifestation because I do see that even in the spiritual space, there's almost a misguided and misdirected concept of manifesting. And I have lived through this. I have chased the desires of the ego with a spiritual stamp on it and hoping that, like, yes, money is spiritual and wanting more money is valid. However, there comes a point where you put money before your soul's alignment, And that creates greed, and that creates the misalignment, right? And so at the beginning of the journey, maybe you are in a state where you feel very disempowered. And by aligning yourself with creating different external circumstances, moves you out of that vibrational space into more empowerment. But then you realize the chasing of the external was never the point. It was a journey to reclaiming the empowerment and the identity of who you are within. And so there will come a point in your journey when the external will no longer suffice and it will no longer fulfill your emotional needs and what your soul is here to do. And so the journey comes back within. And then we start to create from proper foundations of what it is that I want deep within. And that requires space, it requires silence to contemplate, right? About what it is that you want. And then when you come into coherence with that, you realize that if I follow my heart and my soul and my intuition, and I feel like those three things can be separate, but if you are in coherence, those things are in alignment. Your heart has a bigger electromagnetic field than your brain does. So if you listen to your heart, you are guided in alignment with your highest self. Sometimes your heart can be blocked, so you can't actually feel what is true in your heart because it is blocked by so much pain and other people's energy. So that is when you are guided by intuitive guidance. Where is your intuition telling you to go next? And you just trust it because that is your soul guiding you into the next experience without attachment to the outcome. The only, uh, I would say the only expectation is that you are here for the soul journey, right? And for more soul alignment in your life. When you surrender to that, everything else will fall into place. And I will give you a very good example and quite a few examples of how this has played out in my life. And for me personally, it has come in the form of support, like physical support, emotional support, financial support, to for me to make walk the bridge. Okay. We are constantly building bridges to our more and more of ourself. So, one of the things that I felt pulled to do was to join a program. And I thought, from an ego perspective, that this program was going to help me become a better coach, that I was going to make money from it, it was going to teach me marketing. And that's what I thought I was going to get from an ego perspective. Okay, that was an external validation. Or mirror to my progress. But what actually happened was I went through a process of inner transformation to become more aligned with who I am in my own personal empowerment and leadership. But I had to invest money into this program. And it was an energetic exchange with the universe. And I'll say it's with the universe and not with the person receiving the money, because we are all conduits of source. So it was an energetic exchange with the universe that I was going to receive that energetic upgrade and embodiment, right? And I didn't have the funds at the time to to pay in full, so I put it on a credit card, and I didn't make any money from that program. I was very misguided at the time. I was very naive and hopeful, and I I was just like, okay, like I thought I was going to make money from it. But what happened was a couple months down the line, Somebody else, one of my friends, probably received divine guidance from source to intuitively reach out to me and say, hey, did you invest in this stock? And I said, no, I didn't. And he says, well, I have a feeling it's going to be a very profitable investment. So I listened, and some part of my intuition listened, and I invested in the stock, even though I didn't have a lot, right? I didn't have a lot that was left in the bank, but I made a contribution, and that was the aligned action that I took. And a couple months later, I made profit off of that stock, and it was the exact amount that I needed to pay for the program. It was the exact amount I needed for the program and for the assistance, right? Because I had to pay virtual assistants to help me put this program together and all of these things. And that was proof. And I wasn't very spiritual at the time. So that was proof to me that I was guided by the universe in this. And you will notice divine will always provide. You just trust that the universe or source or spirit has your back. Personal will goes against intuition and it feeds the ego. And when it feeds the ego, it's creating an energetic mismatch. And sometimes you might not recuperate what it is that you are looking for because the ego is not an energetic match to what your soul wants. So, all that to say, we're going to do a roundabout because I tend to go off topic, but I want to bring it back in. Are you operating in divine will or are you operating in personal will? And there is nothing wrong with personal will because you do have free choice. You do have free will. So if you decide that one day you want to go to Disney World, go ahead, right? By all means. Divine will is just saying that your soul has a pre-planned path for you, and there are certain experiences woven into that path. So it is just about you allowing yourself to be guided by your intuition through this experience. And by not having an attachment to what the outcome is, you fulfill your higher destiny. And then through that, you will experience more ease and more flow in your life. With that being said, I do want to share that the Creator Academy, which is my membership community, is open for enrollment. It is filled with starseeds and visionaries and creators who are here to be the creator of their own life. We have weekly healings, activations, master classes, and community meetups. So it is truly built for expansion and it is constantly evolving. So I do invite you to check out that link if that is something you're interested in, as well as grab my free gift, which is the 7 chakra activation. And that helps you move into a higher octave and frequency of your chakras. So I please like and subscribe on my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.